Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and just want to give you an update on the Cobra. I'm not sure if I cracked the rear diff cover or if it's just leaking, but I'll show you what I found underneath it here. So basically, just after driving it, I did notice just a few drops that were kind of accumulating on the ground, and so that's when I realized it was leaking a little bit, and then I looked up in it, and I'll show you what I found. So I was following the diff from the front pinion to make sure it wasn't leaking from there, and it looks real clean, but then towards the actual cover, it's real moist. It might just be leaking from the cover, but I also see some oil up and around there and wondering if it cracked the cover, which is pretty common. And so yeah, as you can see, it's leaking, so either way it has to be fixed. Now, the thing is with the Terminator or the IRS Cobras, the cover's pretty flimsy, and it's been known to be blown out under some high horsepower runs. So it's something that I'm going to upgrade anyway, and I really like the Ford Racing diff cover or girdle. I put the solid rear axle version on my Mach 1 when I built the rear end, did 410s, and I really liked it. It's a solid piece. So here's a few pictures of it from my Mach 1 when I did the install for the gears, and I'll put a link to those videos in the description. But really solid piece, I'm really happy with it. And on the solid rear axle, it's super easy. You could install it on the car. For the IRS, you do have to pretty much take the differential out. And so I do have a video on that as well that I'll link in the description on a spare IRS I was working on, but that'll be part of the process. And so I thought that someday I would put the IRS version on my Cobra when it needed it. And so now that it's leaking for sure, I went ahead and got one. So the thing with that is I did some research, and there's a few things that I found. First of all, for the different prices, they're pretty similar. First of all, the IRS cover is a lot more than the solid rear axle cover. I paid like $180 for the solid rear axle version. The IRS is like $260 to $280. It's almost $100 more. Now, on top of that, the best deal that you could get has changed a little bit because you can't use a lot of the discount codes. If you've looked, American Muscle has taken down a lot of their 6% off discount codes that you used to be able to use. There were hundreds of them out there from all the different forums and Facebook, and so a lot of those don't work anymore. And so now the best deal that I was able to find was going to CJ Pony Parts and using a discount code that they still use, and that got me the best deal. I paid $244, something like that, for the actual cover, plus then they charge you tax. Then I used the discount code, which pretty much eliminated the tax. But either way, on a lot of these sites, you have to pay tax. So the best deal I was able to find was I got the diff cover and the friction modifier from CJ Pony Parts, and then I got the actual royal purple 75 W140, I think is the one I got, and I paid less getting that at American Muscle. So kind of, all in all, I saved about 15 bucks. It wasn't really that big of a deal. And maybe a little more with the discount code working on one side over the other. But anyway, so the problem with the CJ Pony Parts is theirs is on back order. They basically drop ship it from Ford. They have to get it from Ford. Then when it comes in, then they'll ship it to you. So it's going to take longer. So if you're in a rush, then that might not be worth the money savings for you. Get one that's in stock. It looked like American Muscle and Late Model Restoration both had them in stock. I wasn't that worried about having the car just sit a little bit longer. So anyway, I saved a few bucks that way. It's really not that big of a deal. But anyway, I'll show you what I ended up buying. So here's the cover, and this is comparison shopping showing you American Muscle. It was $263. Then over at Late Model Restoration, same cover, just a few dollars less than that, $259. And then $246 was the lowest I found, but notice the bottom right says ships within 5 to 7 business days, and that's the drop ship delay that we were talking about. Something I do want to mention as well, though, is there was a really good 10% off discount, USA 10 for Late Model Restoration,
but it did not apply to the diff cover that I wanted to get, so I was a little upset about that. Even trying to see if the differential fluid would make a difference, it was still cheaper to do it the way I did with American Muscle for the fluid, and then CJ Pony Parts for the actual diff cover and friction modifier. Now, one last thing to add is you can get a very similar, if not almost identical cover, LPW and some other brands. A lot of it looks like they're using the exact same casting and everything, just rebranded, and it's a little bit cheaper, like $224, so you save another $20 if you're considering it compared to the lowest price you can get it for. So if name brand isn't that important to you, there are ways to get the cover a little bit cheaper. So anyway, we'll get this repair on the road as soon as the parts come in, and just stay tuned, stay subscribed, make sure you check out the other videos we've done lately. We had all of our Mustangs together if you haven't seen that one, and that was kind of cool. So anyway, as soon as parts come in, we'll get rolling on it and have more content for you. Still got the motor mounts to install on the Mach 1 as well. So anyway, thanks for watching.